love wireless mics. I'm just addicted to them. I'm sorry, it's a problem that I have. We're going to be looking at the new and somewhat familiar looking 7 rims iRay DW30 kit. This is a 2-mic kit and we are using it right now. So this is our receiver right here, which is plugged right into our camera right here, and the transmitter is on my belt right here. We are using my favorite mic, the Sennheiser condenser mic, but eventually we're going to switch to the one built into the 7 rims, so we're going to get a few different sounds going on here. We are recording in mono, so you can do stereo or mono with this. All of this should be pretty familiar to you at this point. Let's get into it, starting with, as always, the build quality. As you can see, and as I said before, this is all pretty familiar. It looks an awful lot like this, a Rode Wireless Go, which is a little dusty because it doesn't get used a lot anymore. The backlight doesn't stay on the head unit here. There we go. Also doesn't stay on the belt pack, but it has a full display on both sides here. The readout is a little bit slow, a little bit of lag on the readout, not necessarily on the audio, as you may or may not notice already. These are plastic, they feel a little bit lightweight. The clip is reasonably solid, better than some 7 rims clips of the past. Rubbery underneath the clip there. There's a USB port on each one of these, every single one, or it can all be charged inside this charging case. Little foam pad to push each one down. The charging case, of course, is looking very familiar as well. Here's the Hollyland Lark system, a similar charging case. But in the Hollyland Lark, we have room for a little tiny audio cable that fits in there with it. At least we have a charge level indicator on this one. Overall, nothing special, nothing shocking, 7 out of 10 for build quality. Feature set. One important feature that this has is 8 gigabytes of onboard storage. No micro SD card or anything, you just take the USB-C, plug it into your computer. It's just like an external drive, bada bing, bada boom. You have the audio off of that if you have recorded it. Also, you have full displays on both sides. You can go mono or stereo. This communicates over 2.4 gigahertz, which means you have very easy pairing. We have a claimed 4.5 hours of battery life. That appears to be correct to me. In the box here, when it comes to features and accessories, in the product listings, there is no mention of lav mics being included, but they do seem to be. So let's open this up and see what we got. So we have fairly run-of-the-mill lav mics here. We have our wind muffs. We have this crazy octopus USB-C charging cable. If you're not charging the box, you can plug in one end here and 3 USB-C out into the packs. You might wonder why this isn't USB-C on this end. That's because the USB-C charging spec generally requires some kind of a handshake. You can't shake hands with 3 things at a time though, so you have to use a dumb 5-volt USB connection to power all 3 of these devices. All right, let's switch over to their lav mic. It's a big boy. Whoa, I just got a lot louder, didn't I? Okay, need to turn this down a tiny bit. And so you'll notice we have a lot rounder of a sound, a little more mid-heavy, a little less sparkle on the top, but a lot of people prefer this sound. I like the sharper tone of the Sennheiser condenser mic. Let me know what you think of the sound of this down below, and we'll switch over to the pack itself in a few minutes here. Other features, we have a claimed 100 meters of range with a 2.4 gigahertz connection. We're going to test that real soon. A magnetic system on the back here. So if you have metal, you can attach it to something, but the magnetic connection on all of these that claim a magnetic connection it's so weak. You would have to be sitting very still to stick that on there and not move it. Just use the clip. And we are lacking the key feature of a few of my favorite systems, such as the Lark 150 and the SmallRig 4 That is having a screen that faces you when it's mounted on your camera, and knobs to easily control the volume, easily and quickly. But we have magnetic case charging, which is a fantastic feature to have. So overall for feature set, I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. It's just missing the emerging features of the knobs and the front-facing screen, and that's going to have more of an effect on our usability than features. Sound quality. You've been listening to me for a little bit now. Let's switch to the pack itself. Now we're on the pack on its own. Let's see how that sounds. It looks like it's about the same volume level as before. Again, it sounds very similar. Probably the same mic capsule has been put into the device as is built into this mic capsule. Fairly cheap, fairly generic, but they're kind of rock solid, they're reliable, and it gives you a tone that is easily editable if you so choose. And just for a sound test, I recorded a video where we have a mic pack in a guitar, mic pack on me, so that we can get the levels balanced. Let's hit it.
You just wants to know that you're well. Oh, in this world, it's just us. No, it's not the same as it was. In this world, it's just us. No, it's not the same as it was.
Lovely. And you can see more of that in the full video on my channel, link below. And so for sound quality, it's the same as always. It's an 8 out of 10, nothing spectacular going on here. Usability. Now, the chief among the usability is our reception. So let's do our range test. Here we are with a test with the 7 rims and the small rig. They both have their wind muffs on. The 7 rims one falls off very easily, and we're recording on board on the 7 rims. Let's do this. I'm freezing cold, so let's make this quick. Sorry for the sniffles. Coming around the corner of the house here, which I often do a little spin around test on, and see how that goes. The small rig was our previous winner for the range test. Off in the woods, we found that it actually was the first 2.4 gigahertz model to make it to 100 meters. Let's see if things change back here in my usual neighborhood test. So this is a regular distance right here, where you might film, say, a wedding from. But let's stretch things out a bit and head to the woods, as we always do. It is chilly today, about -5. It could be colder. It's usually colder this time of year. We're usually looking at about -20 this time of year, so I guess I should consider myself lucky. Or perhaps not lucky that the Earth is destroying itself, or rather, we are doing it. Alright, I am deep in the woods now. Lots of animal prints. I don't have a lot of tree cover where I'm standing right now. I can still see the camera pretty clearly, but you might not be able to see me. I am just shy of 100 meters away in the woods, and we'll see how that turns out. Alright, let's make our way back. And just because the small rig did so well last time, I don't know if it will this time. I'm going to head over behind the house and see if I can get things to be completely ruined. Because if I step behind the entire house, this 2.4 gigahertz signal should really crap out on us. There we go, behind the house. And we're coming back around. Generally, if you want to punch through some walls and buildings, you'll want to use a UHF system. But those tend to have a bit of a high noise floor and not quite as sparkly. And also they can have connection issues, pairing issues, whereas the 2.4, they'll always bounce back to where they came from. How'd that go? Well, let's do the behind the car test. We'll actually turn around this time so you can see it. Here's the car. Not a very big one. Alright, let's see how these do against a Honda Civic. Down behind the trunk, and I'm turning around. Oh, almost fell over. It's very icy. And back out. Coming around the side. Get some road noise. And here we are. It's a little dark. Had the ND filter kind of set up for a little brighter light. Let's just take a little walk and see our sunrise. Because I have a fun filter on for it. Oh yeah, look at that. Well, that's much more majestic, isn't it? How's my autofocus working? Yes. There we go. Am I cinematic enough for you? I should hope so. This structure here is a normal climber, but it will become a snow fort once the deep snow finally comes. And that's it for our outdoor work. Let's get back inside and warm up again. Oh, I hit the snowplow pole. That is unfortunate. It's a good thing we have onboard storage. It makes up for a lot of our issues here. However, it would be nice to just have more reliable. Again, as I've said before, I've used this for videos already. Within a normal setup, I have not had any connection issues whatsoever, but when you're gonna push the range, this one just does not compete with the new 2.4 gig Range King, which is the small rig Forovala. That being said, 7 Rims does have a great range competitor, and that's the original iRay, which operates not on 2.4, but on UHF, and this will very easily get you an incredible distance with these small little devices. But they're fantastically powerful. You have kind of a noise floor issue being UHF because it kind of interacts with the whole atmosphere and universe around you without locking on like 2.4 gig does. Pluses for usability. Our magnetic charging case with a built-in battery that can charge everything without even being plugged in, which the small rig lacks. This has no battery in the case. You got the battery indicators on here. You got full screens on all 3 devices. Very small size, very familiar size. It's kind of the size we expect to see from everything now. Very simple, rudimentary interface. But our negatives, the wind muff, it just does not stay on, falls off way too easily. Other companies have fixed this in the past. Even other 7-rim products have not had this issue as badly. A very old-fashioned, kind of antiquated interface now, just kind of clicking through. We don't have the easy control knobs. We don't have the front-facing screen. And not fantastic reception. So for usability, I have to give this a 6 out of 10. It's not hard to use, but it's fallen a bit behind already. Is there a reason for that? Let's look at value to find that reason. So the price for this, you're looking at somewhere between $185 and $200. That is easily below the point of the Hollyland Lark at $280 with our charging case and, you know, equivalent stuff. Doesn't have onboard storage. The Forovala, which is kind of one of my favorites now, it looks nice, it works great. It's $200, does not have onboard storage, does not have a battery in the case. You have the Godox MoveLink, which I reviewed in the past. There's now a Mark II version of it, but still it does not have onboard storage. But that's $200. Charging case, doesn't have batteries in it. So again, you're getting a lot more features for your money here. And there are other ones like the Ceramic Blink Pro 2. I've got that kicking around here. So anyway, everything costs more or the same amount as this. Nothing competes with it directly feature for value. So the value's got to be a 10 out of 10. So what's that give us for a total score? That is a 40 out of 50 or 80%. That is a strong score. It's kind of what we expect from 7 Rims. You get a lot of bang for your buck, but it's not the most refined experience. But it depends on what's worth it to you. Is onboard recording the thing, the main feature that you're looking for? This can record for up to 24 hours. The battery won't last that long, but I mean, you could just plug it into an external battery pack and just keep on going for well beyond the 4.5-hour battery life. It all depends on what is valuable to you. Let me know what is valuable to you down in the comments below. For me, the market is getting very crowded right now. You have got to innovate, and this packs in the features, but it does not innovate. So it does all the things, but it doesn't push the envelope. Like the Forovala that gives you great range, like the Hollyland did with the knobs and the screen that the Forovala also, you know, incorporated as well, or copied. So this took the best of a lot of them, stuck it in there. Is it the best for you? I don't know. But until next time, let's go take some photos.